One of my subscribers informed me about this story coming out of New York, and they put it under the video that I just recently did about Dakota Terrio. I found out his name is Terrio, not Theriot, like I thought it was. But that's besides the point. Here you have this man by the name of Arthur Martinovich. He's 34 years old, and on Tuesday evening, this past Tuesday that just went past, he went into this buffet restaurant called the Seaport Buffet, and he went in there with a blunt object and went and struck alive. There's a point that I'm making here. Is usually when I do these type of stories, there's always a point I like to drive home. But let's get into it. It states, witnesses say Arthur Martinovich walked into Seaport Buffet in Sheepshead Bay just before 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday and began bludgeoning the restaurant's 60-year-old owner who was at the front of the buffet. Now, this buffet was Asian owned, and the reason why I didn't read the owner's name is because I could not pronounce it worth a damn, and I would have completely butchered his name. He went to the back of the restaurant where he struck 34-year-old chef Fu Fai Pun and 50-year-old manager, I'm guessing that's T's Matt Pung, before fleeing the scene. So he ended up striking 3 people, but 2 of them died. Cops captured Martinovich about 2 blocks away from the bloody scene. He reportedly became combative minutes before his perp walk and assaulted an officer. So he was resisting arrest and he was still taken in alive. Again, thus pushing my point that I'm going to drive at the end of this article. Martinovich was subsequently secured on a stretcher with restraints on his arms and legs. An ambulance transported him to the psychiatric unit at Kings County Hospital where he is under evaluation. I swear, only white people, only them. All 3 victims were taken to another hospital where Pun was pronounced brain dead. A second victim, whose name has not been released, was confirmed dead on Friday. Several employees who witnessed the attack have said the perpetrator, believed to be an immigrant from Estonia, then they need to deport his ass back to Estonia and let them deal with him, appeared to be specifically targeting Chinese victims. A dishwasher at the restaurant, 41-year-old Francisco Sales, told the New York Daily News that the attacker told him, "I don't have a problem with the Hispanics, but with the Chinese." Despite the attempt to reassurance, Sales sprinted out of the eatery clutching a stick to defend himself if necessary. Though Sales and others told police Martinovich's actions appeared racially motivated, authorities have no plans to charge him with a hate crime. Dear Asian community, now you got a glimpse of what it's like when we have to deal with racial issues on what seems to be a daily basis. Because even though this is clearly a hate crime, he pretty much established that it is when he said he wasn't targeting anyone else but them. They decided to not go forward with it anyway. He needs to have a few charges put up against him, not just the hate crime charge. He is, however, facing charges for murder, attempted murder, and weapons possession. A police source said of the attack, "It was unprovoked. It appears random. Martinovich is an emotionally disturbed person." I swear they are throwing all the privileged cards out of this guy. Being taken alive, having an evaluation, not charging with a hate crime, and now saying he was emotionally disturbed. In other words, it's only a matter of time before they slap him with the mental illness card. Law enforcement sources also said he told cops he was inspired by a movie about Chinese mistreatment of women. He had problems with Asian men, one source said. He talked about how Asian women are being treated by their men. So this sounds like a guy who had a fetish for Asian women and didn't like the way that Asian men treated him. I've always heard those stories where it says that Asian men are some of the most abusive men when it comes to relationships as far as domestic violence goes. Witnesses told the suspect he was also rambling about aliens and claimed voices told him to hurt the victims. There's always someone telling them from some extraterrestrial plane or realm that they need to do this and do that. No, he chose to do that on his own accord. He was saying psycho stuff about space aliens, another police source said. Sales said Martinovich appeared calm when he entered the restaurant wearing construction gloves. Havoc ensued when he approached the owner and struck him in the head with the curved side of the hammer. Terrified customers at the buffet ran out of the restaurant and went to Randazzo's clam bar next door for cover. A guy who worked there ran in. He said the guy hammered the manager in the head and there's blood everywhere. People were rushing out. One of the customers ran in and said, "Lock your doors. He attacked people with a hammer and he's on the loose." Samantha Randazzo, who owns the clam bar, says she let Seaport buffet customers take cover in her restaurant. "We tried helping people who were trying to come in, customers, but we were scared to even walk out. We didn't know where he was. They said a guy came in crazy with a hammer and started hammering certain people. Random people said he was just screaming crazy words. 'I'm killing everybody. World is hell.'" Now, the point of all of this and the reason why I really wanted to talk about this story, and I'm glad that I read that entire article because it basically let me know all I needed to know to drive home this point. If y'all remember back in New York, the same state, a couple years ago, there was a black guy. There was a black man who was clearly off his meds and most likely mentally disturbed. And he was walking down the street with a shower head in his hand and pointing it like at people like it was a gun. People got scared naturally because you don't know from a distance it would look like a gun because of how it was curved. And it was silver, so people, probably thought it was some, kind of, regular standard handgun. But he was approached on and he was shot multiple times and he was killed. When they tried to tell him this guy had a mental illness, they didn't listen. Yet this guy was able to run up into a buffet restaurant with a hammer, hit the owner over the head, go back, hit two of the co-workers over the head. He killed two of them. One of them, they said, is brain dead. I mean, you might as well just declare them dead. Two are dead. One is alive, luckily. They don't charge him with a hate crime. They take him in alive. They say he's mentally, they might as well say he has a mental illness, but they say he's emotionally disturbed. All that privilege weighed down on this guy, and they say he's an immigrant. So he's not even from here. He's not even from the States. He's from across the pond. And he did this. All because he has a huge hatred of Asian men and how they treat their women. He got privilege and he probably doesn't even realize it. But then again, he probably does. And then he said he heard aliens talking to him and all types of shit. Any excuse to try to remove himself from what he actually did, and that's being a stone cold murderer. A goddamn psychopath. But see, they're going to use that as a means to build up a mental illness case against him, and they didn't charge him with a hate crime. Because they knew if they hit him with them hate crime charges, it would be hard for them to hit him with the mental illness claim. It seemed like each and every day, week, whatever, month, year, it never ceases to amaze me of the lengths that they will go to protect their own, even when they know they are some fucked up individuals. But to the Asian community, this is your issue because, see, the last time we had to deal with y'all on a scale like this in New York, it involved a black guy by the name of Akai Gurley, and Peter Liang killed him, and he was on his way to jail, and then that turncoat, now deceased black attorney, or no, not attorney, that mayor, whatever he was who was running for him, managed to let him off the hook at the very last minute. They was getting ready to send Peter Liang to jail for a very long time. And then the Asian community came out in droves, and I never seen them like that before. And they rallied behind this guy who they know was wrong for killing this black man. And then they scattered like roaches when it was over, and you never saw them again. The only thing that happened to Peter Liang is that he wasn't able to attain another police job. We don't know what happened to him. Hopefully he's fallen off the face of the earth. And then all the times when the Asian store owners were getting into it with black women a lot of the times. And even though we say black women just don't go up in their stores, at the same time, those Asian store owners, they love putting their hands on people, not only just in the beauty supply stores, but also in the nail shops as well. So this is their own fight that they have to deal with. You don't have to worry about me throwing the cape on. I'm just reporting the story. I'm just the messenger.